When I was younger, I used to be in love with fairy tales. I would listen to narrations of them on the internet, rent books from the library, and download audiobooks on the family computer. You can say I was obsessed. A few weeks ago, I was browsing YouTube on my phone, when I suddenly stumbled across a video of one of my favorite childhood fairy tales, Little Red Riding Hood. The thumbnail featured the titular protagonist front and center. She was drawn in a simple, cartoonish style with the title of the story above her written in the same font that was used in Terraria. There was the wolf character drawn in the same art style hiding in the right side with a screaming expression plastered on his face. The background had a paper-like texture to it that was noticeably compressed. Nothing out of the ordinary, though it looked unprofessional. Without a second thought, I tapped on the video and began watching for the ounce of nostalgia. The titular video began with the thumbnail once more. However, there was a text-to-speech female voice that read the title of the story. Then it faded to a shot of a JPEG of a 1800s-style kitchen with Red Riding Hood standing in front of her mother. The parental figure had her top half cut off by the screen in a similar fashion to the trope you sometimes see in cartoons. She was also holding a large basket towards her daughter. There was that same text-to-speech voice reading the original story from here. The video itself was played in screenplay, kind of like I was reading an actual picture book. We then see the rest of the story play out with Red Riding Hood strolling through the woods to her sick grandmother's house, stumbling into the wolf, as she tells him where she was going, and continues on with her journey, as the wolf uses a shortcut to Grandma's place, as, again, the voice narrates everything. We then get to the part of the video with Red Riding Hood's grandmother lying in bed, sick, as the scene faces the front door with a silhouette of the wolf with white, pupilless eyes standing in the doorframe. As it sits on this frame, the voice proceeds to read from here.
As the wolf arrived to Grandma's house, he knocked on the door as Grandma says, "Who is it? It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," the wolf replies, putting on a girly expression. "Come in, sweetheart." As the door opens, Grandma was taken aback, not expecting to see the wolf. He suddenly sprinted towards the now frightened Grandma and devoured her.
Growing can then be heard, followed by crunching, squeezing, and the screams of an elderly woman. The scene then cuts to a black void with a white figure with large, hollow eyes, who I assumed to be Red Riding Hood's grandmother, as soft whine can be heard in the background. This whole thing caught me off guard. What am I even witnessing right now? I thought to myself. I just continued, wondering what would happen next. Eventually, Red Riding Hood reached her grandma's house, as she knocked on the door.
"Who's there?"
A deep, scratchy male text-to-speech voice called out.
"It's me, Little Red Riding Hood."
A high-pitched female voice replied back.
"Come in, dear."
She enters the house without a second thought and placed the basket on a nearby table. The typical part of the story plays out here with Red Riding Hood telling her grandma how she had big eyes, big ears, all the sort. But when she said,
"My, what big teeth you have,"
the wolf responds with,
"Hold the better too."
With the last three words being said in a very loud, distorted tone which made me jump in my seat, as my heart skipped a beat. As this played out, the image suddenly cuts to the wolf sitting up in bed with Red Riding Hood watching in horror, as this was happening. The wolf's face was edited to have yellowed, humanoid teeth and large, reddened eyes with equally large pupils. Pretty cheesy, but still unsettling to look at. The image also was slightly blurred with a black aura surrounding said image. The video sits on that shot as the same crunching and squishing sounds from before can be heard along with the screams of a little girl, thankfully not showing the carnage. It then cuts to the same black area with Grandma, now accompanied by Red Riding Hood having the same appearance as her grandmother. The same sounds of the wind can be heard. As it holds their text, written in the same font as was on the thumbnail, started fading in one sentence at a time. I knew I should have listened to my mother about talking to strangers. Now me and my grandma have been killed. And it's all my fault. The text then faded away, along with the bodies of Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. They replaced with the large piece of text reading, "Moral of the story, never talk to strangers." Then the video ended right there and then. I was left both completely dumbfounded and unnerved afterwards. While the video didn't completely ruin my childhood and my view of fairy tales, it was still pretty disturbing, at least to me. If you're willing to search for the video, just don't bother. I can't find the video myself once I tapped to exit. I didn't have an account, so I couldn't go through my watch history, and even if you looked it up in the search bar, I can guarantee that you won't find it even after hours of searching. I believe that it got deleted, unsurprisingly, though I don't doubt that it's still online somewhere, just on a site much smaller than YouTube. Please, be careful when going online. Something that looks so innocent could be so much worse than it first appears.
On the 30